Yeah, people go on the weekends and they drive into the unknown.
Yeah.
And they go over glaciers and they might fall into cracks.
Yes.
And die. And then they many together, and then one jeep has to, people in the one jeep have to rescue the other people in the other jeep. And then they come back and they have very good stories to tell.
Welcome to Be My Witness, a podcast where we witness ourselves, witness each other, and witness others in life, all of its highs and lows and ups and downs, and me not know what the intro is every episode. Today in the season finale, yay! The season finale of Be My Witness Season 1, we are talking about nothing other than moving on, because moving on isn't black and white. It actually comes with lots of things to think about and talk about. And I do want to say thank you all so much for the support. This has been literally so fun, and I love when y'all tell me y'all thoughts about the show, because it just really warms my heart, and I'm just so happy that everything's resonating and it's landing, and it's really been beautiful to see. So I hope we can continue to grow this community and be there for one another and support each other through the ever-changing times. But don't worry, I will be back very soon, and I hope you stick around for this episode. So with that being said, let's get into it. To me, moving on is accepting a new reality. It's not forgetting the past. It's not acknowledging how it's changed you. I wouldn't even say it's like a piece of you is gone. It's more that you're expanding into another expression of yourself. I know for me, when I'm in contemplation of moving on, there's the only thing that's really holding me back is, at its core, the fear of being free. Who am I on the other side of this experience? And the only reason why it's scary because it's the unknown. And I think it's just really the hesitancy to embrace the unknown. But that's a part of the process. That's a part of accepting a new reality. I think for me, it was a fear that alone I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it with just the strength of myself, that I just wasn't capable of being in charge of my own freedom, being in charge of myself, really, which is kind of crazy to really think about. In hindsight, in present sight, it's that's kind of wild. And I think that I didn't think that was possible in general, regardless of a person or a job or a place. I just didn't really think that I would be able to fly. I couldn't fathom my own freedom. And for me, when I think on that, I feel that this may come from an ancestral place, that this is not my fear alone, that I'm not the only one that has ever felt this in my lineage, and that, especially with being Black and being a woman, a lot of times we are to operate out of survival. We are to suppress the things that we truly desire. We are to put aside what will actually bring us free, or the freedom itself was just never going to be available to us because of oppression. And with that, it's I don't think it can be affirmationed out of my spirit. But that's the thing. I don't really know if by remaining positive and repeating all the things and having my optimism as my guiding light will truly rid me of the fear and the survival instincts. But even though I feel that I'm also wanting to change my perspective a little bit and know that if I'm resting in truth and if this is an ancestral experience that I'm having, that I'm not the first woman in my family to have this feeling. And I'm probably the first person, though, in a long time that's turning the other way, you know, that's trying to embrace the freedom, that's trying to do something that someone before them didn't do. And it's low-key crazy because, like, the astrology is astrologing because I am an Aries moon, which Aries is the first sign, and the moon can represent family, ancestry, lineage, and it's also in my fourth house, so it's like double that energy for me. And a lot of astrologers have said that Aries placements in some way will be the first in their lineage, in their family, to do something. So here I am, living out that truth. And so at the same time that it's fearful in a sense, it's also bringing me peace to know that I'm not just doing this for me, but I'm doing this for the women that came before me as well. And so speaking of the ones that come before us, it's so easy to become stuck in your ways and in your patterns that you never unlock parts of yourself that'll make you whole. Parts of yourself that really expand the story. Think of juicing fruit. There's only so much juice in one piece of fruit. So you can only do so much from one expression, from one version of yourself before there's no more juice. And then when it comes to being a different expression or embracing a pivot or having the faith to trust that it's all aligned and it'll all work out, you have to recognize your intuition as signals from a near future self, nudging you to follow through and journey that path. Create the space for the universe to bless you and trust that it'll hold you through the process and through the journey. But the thing is not to look for it too hard. Just live and let it happen, because I feel like that's when it doesn't reveal itself. I often think of the Björk quote where I'm paraphrasing, but where she's talking about creativity and she's like, it's like a little orb of light, and every time you get closer to it, it moves somewhere else. It's somewhere else, and you have to go on the journey to find it again. And that's like really like the magic of life. It's never something that you'll possess in your hands. It'll always be something that you're kind of following, and then it's somewhere else. And so allow yourself to be somewhere else. Allow yourself to move in and out of expressions of yourself when there's no more juice. So I think sometimes the fear is coming from a place of control because you want to know every step, every detail, every second of the process. But it's just not realistic to be human or to be having a human experience and know that. And so with having control, it's like you're forgetting to have faith. You should track your progress, however that is, whether it's video diaries or journaling or pictures or playlist, like something that's like tracking your growth and your experience. And it doesn't have to be very analytical or super data driven in the sense of like numbers, but it can really be however you feel you get the most you in, if that makes sense. Like if you're a writer, maybe it's journaling, or if you're a visual person, maybe it's video diaries or pictures, whatever it is. Like track your progress, because we really don't know how much we change unless we have the proof, unless we have like the things to look back on and say, wow, I remember this, like I'm so different now, or wow, like I remember when I was going through this dilemma, but hindsight is also clear now. The ability to look back on yourself and have data that is representing of you and not coming from your algorithm in your phone. It's like, in a sense, I feel like it's you taking your life into your own hands. And yeah, it doesn't have to be every day. I think a good place to start would just be weekly updates, or however frequent like it feels right to you. It can even be season based or month based, like if you have a playlist where you just add your favorite songs of the month. I used to do that actually, and I still sometimes go back to those playlists and like, oh, I remember this song, and the feelings that I felt during that time when that song was like the soundtrack to my life at that point. And it's really, it's like nostalgic, but like in a good way, because it's me. Like, it's like I'm making my own nostalgia, and it's not like a company trying to like sell me nostalgia so that I don't realize what's going on. But that's another topic for another day. I think that we can get a little lost in the bigger picture, believe it or not, and our more long-term goals, or where we see ourselves when we're a certain age. But I do think that it's also important to still be in practice of creating the now and really embracing the present moment and being here and paying attention to those details, because all of those details add up to the bigger picture. And I think that it's important that we have practices and methods to make that a reality for ourselves. So celebrate your daily wins, celebrate your weekly achievements, and if you're really like about it, you could even express like what you want to change to into the next week, and so that you're kind of in that method of growing and improving, but you're also staying present by being able to document and be the storyteller of your own life, really, because when you document, it makes it real, and it's you become an archivist, you become a historian, you become the writer of your own story. And by documenting your own story, it means no one can take it away from you. No one can rewrite it, because you have it stamped, type sheet. And here I go. But in a time where everything's digital and really at the hands of companies, because this whole thing that's going on with TikTok, how they can own your videos and all of that stuff, is like crazy. So it's time to own your own life. It's time to own your story. And what better way to do it than something that mostly expresses you? And if you can, like, find a way to have these things in physical format, even if it's that you take pictures on your phone, but you have them printed out at like CVS or something, or if you have one of those printers that can connect to your phone and print out physical copies of your pictures, one, you're really cool, but I would also utilize that. Yeah, like figure out a way to make it like a physical thing, that's a tangible thing you can touch. That's why I think journaling is really good, because not only does it create like documentation of your life, it's also like a really nice practice for communicating your thoughts and ideas. And I think we really need that now more than ever. People who can communicate well, not just talk. But like I've said before, we have a lot of information, we have a lot of awareness, but I think oftentimes we kind of become like paralyzed by our awareness, and we feel, and I feel like this creates like a disconnect between ourselves, because it's like our minds have all of this awareness, all of these new ideas, but our bodies are doing the same thing. So we can't act as if we're someone in the process of becoming, even though we are. We can't act as someone in the process of pursuit or as someone in the pursuit of, we want to be whatever that is. So let's just use pursuit of happiness. We can't be in the pursuit of happiness, we have to be happiness. So asking yourself, and at first, which like anything really, when you're making a conscious change, it's kind of like, okay, like this is kind of silly, but at first you have to ask yourself, what would a happy person do? You have to ask yourself what that version of you would do and do that thing, because then that'll get you closer to you being happiness. So my closing thoughts, my loves, thank you for sharing this space with me, by the way. I believe that moving on isn't simply leaving something behind. It's completely accepting a new reality and embracing a new version of yourself that you haven't been before. So you may have been taught that moving on meant to suppress your truth, that if you're moving on, then you don't say that you still miss who you used to be, or that you still feel things for that version of yourself. It's not that you keep going forward and you never look back. It's that you accept that you are no longer who you were, and this new you would choose different actions. They would choose different, each choice guiding you to the life you know is yours. Embrace that you will have to learn yourself over and over again. Forgive yourself over and over again, and return to yourself over and over again. Life isn't something that's curated to a T and then just works forever. It's something that actively unfolds and changes continuously. With aligned choices, it reflects something significant and beautiful. So how will you be there for yourself today? With light and love, peace.